Okay, number 4. So we finally reached the point where I can stop researching, or at least deep researching, and start designing the actual hub. So the first few weeks and the first few videos were about understanding the educational problem and looking how our information currently moves in the college and seeing what our peer institutions have done to approach a similar problem. So I didn't want to just jump into building something, which is pretty much my nature. But as I'm becoming an educational technology expert or semi-expert, I wanted to understand what our users will actually need. So bringing the pieces together was easier after I had some information on the problem and knowing what our students, our employers, our faculty, and our staff were finding challenging to navigate when we're talking about exponential experiences and getting our students career ready sooner than later. And that is what has shaped my design decision with the Career Connections Hub. So instead of creating another destination for students, the goal for me now is to figure out how to bring all of those things together into one central place. So instead of having the 6 websites or the 6 contacts, or how can we connect them all together and make this one place for our students? So I mapped everything out. I started thinking less about the technology, which I don't know if that's something that educational technology people want to hear, but more about the people using it. And that's what I think has been key through my whole educational experience here, is what about the people? What about the people using it? What about the purposeful meanings of technology? And don't just throw it out there and say, oh, look at this great new shiny thing. Why do we need it? What will we gain from it, and what will our users' experience be? So the questions I had asked helped determine the pages I wanted to include on the site. And again, it's a pilot, and we're going to start with something clean, simple, and easy to navigate that'll help us decide what is missing as we go forward, instead of putting a bunch of things in there and having to scale back, which also I find in the courses and the experts that I've talked to, teachers, is what is a massive problem in educational technology nowadays is we are getting money, we're buying things without figuring out why or what we need them for, and saying we'll just have it in case, or we'll say we'll use it if we need. We don't want to go forward building a bunch of things we don't need. So this will be clean, simple, easy to navigate. We'll start with the basics, and then we'll find out what's missing, or we'll add features as we need them. We can go forward thinking instead of backwards thinking. So the best case is to use the technology supported by the university, and I've already talked about that. The Microsoft platform is what we use at the university, and SharePoint and Teams will become the foundation of the actual hub. The teams will give us the option to let multiple people look and use and see the progress of the building and check the features. And that naturally will lead me to other pieces of software that will fit into the puzzle, like Microsoft Forms. We talked about having an employer form so they could submit their opportunities that students could experience, whether it's an internship or a mentorship or a project, or if they want a guest lecture, or if they want to just say submit a business proposal that an entrepreneur class might want to consider. So Microsoft Forms will help us use that. And then we talked about potentially creating a list for Microsoft Lists, which will help with those submissions. It'll create a database, and then we could potentially add a feature that tells us in what stage those inquisitions are in and who is working on them. So this is becoming quite a useful asset using the Microsoft platform we already have. I feel confident that the design will reflect both the needs of our stakeholders and other resources we have available. And as a team, we can build as we grow. So next is prototype, the actual SharePoint. And I also have to make sure that I have the right permissions in the Microsoft platform with the university. So I don't get to the point where, oh, let's build the SharePoint and realize I can't create a team or can't actually build a SharePoint. But certainly IT help desk will help us with those hoops, and we'll have an awesome site that is functional, or at least the beginning stages of a functioning site. So fingers crossed.